Frequency Matters, the RF and Microwave Update. I'm Pat Hindle, and I'm here with my co-host Gary Lerude. In this episode, we'll continue our IMS 2016 coverage. IMS takes place May 22nd through the 27th in San Francisco. So this issue is dedicated to the coverage of that event. And our cover story, as we said before, is the big merge. So it talks about the Triquin RFMD merger for Qorvo and the ADI acquisition of Hittite, and kind of an insider's view of that. And you did a great job writing that and capturing the information from those companies. Speaking of ADI, we have a special guest who will be in this episode later on from the RF and microwave business at Analog Devices. So we'll see a clip of that later on.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yes. So we covered the technical features last time.
Right.
So how about the product features?
So product features, we have several. We have 3 test and measurement related. One from Keysight on their X-Series signal analyzers. Then kind of related to that from Aronia, a real-time spectrum analyzer that covers up to 20 gigahertz. We have from Anritsu some USB power sensors. And then more on the semiconductor side, Linear Technologies has a very wideband mixer, active mixer, and it covers 2 to 14 gigahertz on the RF side with an IF that goes basically DC to 6 gigahertz.
Yeah, that's an impressive product. It has a lot of wide bandwidth and wide operating frequency.
Right. And then the last one is from Teledyne Paradise Datacom. They have a 27 to 30 gigahertz or 31 gigahertz 100-watt GaN PA, high-power solid-state power amplifier, so for the satellite band. So those are our product features for this issue.
Yeah, and then don't forget we have a lot of IMS coverage in here. There's a whole preview article, so we talk about the conference, the special sessions, the keynotes, the micro apps, etc. So it covers all that material. You can get a preview of all the products that the companies will be introducing. We have a map for the exhibition so you can find your way around easily. So if you're old school, you can cut out those pages, or you can download our mobile app or digital edition if you want to do it that way.
Right, and the map is very helpful because it usually takes me a couple days to figure out where everybody is.
Yeah, you have to get oriented.
Right.
Maybe we'll do a special episode where we go over the map in the future.
That would be helpful.
So what did you see in the news?
So the news is interesting. Qorvo announced an acquisition of Green Peak Technologies, which is an Internet of Things supplier. They do low-power silicon personal area network chipsets, so things like Bluetooth, Zigbee, and it's a strategic move on Qorvo's part. It's interesting because now they're moving into this IoT space, given the development of that market. So I think that's pretty significant. They didn't disclose the terms of the deal, but it should close this quarter.
Yeah, and then on my side, back to 5G, as I usually am talking about these days, there was a lot going on. The Brooklyn 5G Summit recently occurred at the NYU Wireless, and at EDICon China, we had our 5G forum featuring China Mobile. And then I saw that ABI projected that the mobile broadband revenue for operators would be in the order of almost $250 billion by 2025.
That's amazing.
So they're throwing around big numbers, and you can see why everybody's excited about 5G technologies. And in that same vein, for millimeter waves, there's a lot of activity going on. And Keysight released E-band signal analysis reference solution. So they took their 10-bit ADC oscilloscope, and that can provide up to 2.5 gigahertz of bandwidth for kind of a low-cost analysis that you can be used for any type of 5G research that's going on.
Yeah, I saw that. And that 5G Summit, the Brooklyn 5G Summit, is really sort of the place to be, I think. There were lots of press releases and different announcements that came out of that.
Yeah, all the headliners go there. You get the Nokias and Ericsson and Samsung. Everybody's involved there.
Exactly.
And then also NI introduced what is kind of the first millimeter wave software-defined radio transceiver, so that's very interesting. So it transmits and receives from 71 to 76 gigahertz, and that has 2 gigahertz of bandwidth, so that'll be very useful for analyzing and simulating systems.
Right. It allows real quick prototyping for people that are working in that frequency range.
So speaking of millimeter waves, we have a special guest today on Frequency Matters. Greg Henderson, who's the Vice President of the RF and Microwave business at Hittite, gives us a little bit of perspective on the millimeter wave market and ADI's participation in that market. So let's take a look at a clip from that interview. We go back to the MACOM days, a mobile radio group that was bought by Harris Corporation. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about your background and what your responsibilities are at ADI.
Yeah, so I've been in the RF microwave industry since the mid-90s. Actually, at MACOM, I started in their semiconductor business, in the R&D group for the semiconductor business. So I've spent about half my career in RF microwave semiconductors at MACOM, TriQuint, and now at what was Hittite through Analog Devices. Also spent about 10 years in the radio business, as you said, for what was MACOM, Tyco Electronics, and Harris.
So how about some of the specific markets? You guys are involved in the satellite market. How do you see the demand being driven in that market?
Yeah, so the satellite market is an area that we're focused on because it's really growing pretty quickly. And one of the key things about the satellite market is that this market's being driven by mobile data, just like all of these other markets, cellular, et cetera. And so the demands of this market are going up orders of magnitude. And so in order to be able to meet those customer demands for higher throughputs, 10 to 100 times higher throughput, to the user, no more cost, it really requires to have significant performance improvement and significant integration in the solutions that we deliver to our customers.
So that was a very interesting talk
Yeah.
with Greg. I appreciate the full interview can be available online at microwavejournal.com. And lots of action in the millimeter wave. It's good to see how much the Hittite acquisition has really complemented ADI's capabilities and extended that range and frequency.
Right, yeah, it's really been a boost to ADI.
Yeah, you and I visited. Remember how impressed we were with all the test equipment they had?
Oh, exactly.
The room was filled with very high-end test equipment.
Right, they have a lot of capability there.
Yeah, very fun. So turning to events, Gary and I just returned from Beijing for EDICon China, and I'm extremely happy to report we had record attendance and record participation on the exhibition side.
Yeah, it was fabulous.
So we were up like 35% on attendance. We had 3,100 unique individuals come through the 3 days. So that's a big jump from last year. We made a really concerted effort this year to extend the conference. We co-located with EMC China, and we also had the China Radar Industry Association conference there too. So there was kind of something for everybody, and we tried to attract a big crowd, and I think we accomplished our task. It was great to see that we had 5 tracks with EDICon, 4 with EMC for 2 days, and then a radar conference for 2 days. So it really was an extensive coverage of our industry.
Yeah, it was hard to keep up with everything that was going on. I found it a challenge. But some of the highlights from the show for me were the Wei Chen's plenary on the Internet of Things. Of course, he's with China Mobile. We had the 5G track, as you mentioned. China Mobile kicked that off with a plenary. New this year, you organized the SOI track, and Global Foundries participated in that. And then we had an interesting GaN panel. I thought it was a significant change from last year because there's a lot more happening in the industry. It's not so much theoretical anymore. And we had NXP, Amplion, and MACOM participate, as well as a system-level view from New Edge Signal Solutions. So it was really quite an event.
Yeah, that was one of the best panels I've ever seen. Usually panels are kind of just hitting the top-level things, but you really dug into some of the details of GaN.
Yeah, very good. So anything else we want to cover?
No, just to say that EDICon China in 2017 moves to Shanghai. So April 25th to the 27th will be in Shanghai, and we plan to rotate between Shanghai and Beijing each year.
I think that's a good move. It'll capture the different industries in both cities.
Yeah, more semiconductor orientation in Shanghai versus the test and measurement and design and simulation in Beijing. So we really kind of hit both those audiences.
Great. Well, we want to thank you for watching this episode of Frequency Matters, and we especially want to thank our sponsors for making it possible. Mini Circuits, you can find out information on their products at their website, minicircuits.com, and our other sponsor, Analog Devices, and you can find out about their products at analog.com. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you on the next episode.